Acha, this is the second part of the chapter number 12, that is measurement. So in the first part we talked about the scaling. In this part we are talking about the reliability and validity. So the questions come in mind: what is reliability and what is validity? You we normally used to say this is reliable, this is not reliable. Sometimes when you are comfortable with with using something, you say it is reliable. For example, you have a motorbike and the motorbike is reliable. You say the motorbike is reliable. It means whenever you switch on the bike, it will switch on. Whenever you would like to ride that motorbike from one place to another, you can. So it is reliable. It means it is consistent. It will switch on and it will move from one place to another. It will take you from one place to another. Okay. So the second is validity. So valid is the word which you normally use. Okay, this is not valid. This is valid. This is a valid statement. This is invalid statement. सही है. तो invalid, what does that mean? It means कि this is not as per the target या objective. ठीक है. Let me discuss it further. This is the diagram which is very important to know precisely about the both reliable and valid. You see this observation, yeah, this it's a dart game example. Have you ever played the dart game? I remember I was gifted by my father the dart game. So what the dart game is? Dart game is basically you just have to uh, throw the sling, and it has to it on this board and on this board. So the dart, sometimes the dart hit here, here, there, if you are not a good player. Sometimes it is like this. So when sometimes it is like this, it means your playing is reliable, and over here you see your playing is validating but not reliable. Over here you see you are validating and reliable as well. You see this is the target. This is the this is the very important diagram. You see this diagram is very decisive in your understanding of the uh, reliability and validity of the scales of the measures. Goodness of data is the word used for the reliability and validity. So when you say my data is as uh, goodness in that, so it means you have a good reliability and validity. Okay. So what is reliability? Over here you see, as we have just discussed, not the definition, but the general understanding about the reliability. So you see there are dimensions of reliability: stability and consistency. We just talked about the consistency. Now you see the stability as well. Stable. Okay, stable means not imbalancing, balance. So consistency and balancing or stability. If you see the stability, the balance, test, retest, reliability. When you test means when you take the data and you retake the data, you have to be reliable. Okay. Parallel form we will be discussing in detail. I am just introducing you uh, to the different branches of uh, the reliability and validity. Parallel form reliability, consistency, inter-item consistency reliability, split half reliability. Okay. If we talk about the validity, are we measuring the right thing? So there is content validity and there is face validity. Over here it is not the dimension is not here, but content validity and face validity are the two kind of validity. the criterion validity, that is predictive and concurrent, the construct validity, it is more famous with the construct validity. Okay, so the convergent and discriminant validity. So you see these convergent and discriminant validity are the dimension of construct validity. This is the most important one as far as statistical analysis is concerned. So we go in RP1 and RP2. What do you go about it? In chapter number 4, you mention the convergent validity, discriminant validity, face validity, content validity. This is the important. The rest of you must know theoretically very well. Okay, you can also mention, but you must know theoretically very well. Achha, let's start with the reliability definition. Reliability of measure indicates extent to which it is without bias and hence ensure consistent measurement across time. Across time means stability. So over here you see I was talking about the stability as the balancing. So balancing means the same in different time periods and across the various items in the instrument, internal consistency. So this is internal consistency across the various items in the instrument. So the consistent is the important point. You are keep seeing the consistent. So you see this is some statistical measurement which you do in chapter number 3 after completing the scaling and measurement. So you just mentioned the Cronbach alpha. This is how you pronounce Cronbach alpha, not Cronbach alpha. It is Cronbach alpha. Okay. N of items. Items means, as you already know, measures questions, 4 questions, and Cronbach alpha is 0.984 of all the 4 questions. This is what it is showing. This is called the reliability statistics. Reliability statistics. So reliability refers to the consistency of the item level errors within a single factor. Factor means, this is the important point, write it down. Factor means variable. Okay, variable. So there will be multiple terminologies for a single concept. So you must know so that you don't get confused. So item means questions and factor means variable. Reliability means just what it sounds like, a reliable set of variables will consistently load on the same factor. Over here variables means questions, measures, items. Okay, a reliable set of variables will consistently load on the same factor on the same variable. The way to test reliability is to compute Cronbach alpha for each factor. For each variable, Cronbach alpha should be above 0.7. Although ceteris paribus means thumb rule is the value will generally increase for factors with more variables and decrease for factors with fewer variables. So when you increase the items, the value will be increased. When you decrease the item, for example, you have only 4 items, so you have 0.984. When you will have 10 items, you will have 0.99. So this is it is saying when you decrease the items due to some or the other reason, your Cronbach alpha value will decrease. Each factor should aim to have at least 3 variables. Each variable should aim to have at least 3 items, although two items is sometimes permissible. 2 items is also permissible. You can also use the 2 items as well. So let's start discussing the stability. Stability, as we already got to know before, the stability is when uh, it is same in different time. Ability of a measure to remain the same over time despite uncontrollable testing conditions or the state of the respondents themselves. Okay, despite the state of the respondent, whatever the state of the respondent, whatever the respondent is in the state. Okay, so We are not talking about the uncontrollable testing conditions and or the state. We are talking about everything can be changed, but the ability of a measure to remain the same over time. This is what we want. Same over time. ठीक है. This is called stability. कहते हैं ना कि his blood pressure is not stable. It means it is changing with the passage of time. For example, if you check uh, that person blood pressure, so his blood pressure is uh, for example 140, 90, and after a while his blood pressure is 60, 160. So this is showing the instability. So stability means after some time, if you check the blood pressure, you find almost the same reading. Not totally same, but almost the same reading. So there are two, as I already mentioned, there are two types: test, retest, reliability. This is how you can ensure the uh, stability. The reliability coefficient obtained with the repetition of the same measure on a second occasion. So when you retest, for example, when you get the data from the person and you get the data second time, so you must have the same answers. Parallel form reliability responses on two comparable sets of measures tapping the same constant are highly correlated. Responses on two comparable sets of measures tapping the same construct are highly correlated. It means that the responses must be correlated. Okay, two comparable sets of measure means for example you are measuring a variable with four questions, so four questions must be correlated, highly correlated. Say of a single variable. This is the concept of the parallel form reliability. These all things you have to understand, especially stability you have to understand theoretically. You won't be applying it in your with the cron by alpha. So you see inter-atom consistency reliability we have already seen with the Cronby alpha. The internal consistency we will be seeing how to apply the internal consistency, how to measure through the statistical analysis. So we will be discussing this. So basically internal consistency is the same of the questions for a variable, and inter-atom consistency reliability we measure through the Cronby alpha. Split half reliability reflects the correlations between two halves of an instrument. Basically this is the theoretical, you don't apply it. So basically this is split half reliability. When you split half the uh, uh, questions or measures of a variable and you check the correlation among them. So I just requested you that pose your question at the end of the session. So I will be telling you, inshallah, I will be allowing you for your question. So keep your question in your mind, or you may write it down on something for your remembrance. This is the validity which we talked about in the diagram before. So you see there are different types of validity which we have already discussed. So over here you see a one-liner statement for all. This is very important. I recommend you to remember all this, especially the keywords. Content validity, measure, does the questions adequately measure the concept. This is called the content validity. So questions and measures. These are basically what? These are the keywords. Face validity. Do experts validate that the instrument measure what its name suggests it measures? So this face validity you get from the English teacher, from the teacher who from the one who has the good command over the language. So what happens in your RP1 and RP2? You get the face validity of your questionnaire if if you have changed anything in the adopted questionnaire, because if you have already taken the questionnaire which is used by some other researcher. So there is no need of face validity and content validity. But still, you need to adapt. You need to adapt a bit because one size doesn't fit for all, especially in research since you are solving another problem. So there is a high chance that you will have to adapt the questionnaire according to your need. For that, you just need to have the face validity from two teachers, from two language specialists, experts who can check okay, what you are trying to say is being conveyed by the question or not. Content validity you get from the expert because when you go to the expert check for every variable that you are asking the correct question for, is it justifiable. If you have majorly changed the or adapt the questionnaire, so usually we all adapt the questionnaire. So content validity and face validity is required in the at the end of the report. So you need to have the signature or the card or the email correspondence if you have done, or the signature of the person you have got the validity. There are many students who reaches to me for the valid content validity. ठीक है? So we usually do the face validity. We avoid the content validity. However, I can do the content validity of few researches, but I avoid because I want students to meet the professionals so that they can have the better idea of the research. Plus, this is the presentation of our work because whenever you guys meet to any professional, so they get to know about your work. ठीक है? So they get the first hand experience of the Iqra University student. So might be there would be some good impression by yours. Criterion related validity, as you already discussed, does the question differentiate in a manner that helps to predict a criterion variable. Concurrent validity, does the measure differentiate in a manner that helps to predict a criterion variable currently. Criterion variable क्या होता है? It is the dependent variable, okay, which we have already learned. The criterion word you have already seen in the chapter number 5, that was the theoretical framework. Predictive validity, does the measure differentiate individuals in a manner that helps predict a future criteria. So this is all theoretical, you won't be applying anything for that. Construct validity, does the instrument tap the concept as theorized. This you will be applying. Construct validity you will be applying. Construct means the variable validity. सही. Does the instrument means questionnaire. ठीक है. Questionnaire is made up of the uh, different questions. Does the instrument tap the concept as theorized. Theorized means whatever the theory has told us or has guided us about the variables and their relationship. ठीक है. So this can be done through the construct validity. Convergent validity, do two instruments measuring the concept correlate highly. So this is uh, basically, do two instruments measuring the concept correlate highly. So over here the instruments means the two questions. Do two questions measuring the concept correlate highly. So what you will doing, basically convergent validity and discriminant validity is the dimension or is the branches of construct validity. So through you have to check the concept as theorized through the correlation of the questions. And secondly, discriminant means discriminant is the word derived from the discrimination. So you see discrimination means to distinguish it or to differentiate it. Does the measure have a low correlation with a variable that is supposed to be unrelated to this variable? So you see, okay, does the question have a low correlation with a variable that is supposed to be unrelated to this variable? So this is very important. Okay, for example, you have 10 questions in total of two variables. So they don't have to, 10 questions don't have to relate to a single variable all the time. They have to relate to the variable the question is intended to. So this is the important. So we will be inshallah seeing this construct validity by the application, inshallah. So you see there are ways of construct validity. Some of the ways in which the convergent discriminant validity can be established are through the following. This is written in your book. So this is all from the book. Correlational analysis is the way through you establish the convergent and discriminant validity. Factor analysis, factor analysis concept is factor means the variable. As I already mentioned you before, factor means variables. Variable analysis, a multivariate technique that confirms the dimension of the concept that have been operationally defined, as well as indicating which of the items are most appropriate for each dimension, establishing construct validity. So basically, through factor analysis, you get to know the questions which you just have adopted or you made yourself are, after taking the data, are really representing the particular variable. This you will have to see through the factor analysis. So if they do not represent, then you take it out. So this whole procedure is called EFA, exploratory factor analysis, which we will be discussing. And this is also for your theoretical understanding, since you will not be applying this because you will be adapting the questionnaire. When you adapt the questionnaire, so there is no need for EFA, exploratory factor analysis. But you must know that the questions you have just taken from some another research, they have already been through the EFA, that is exploratory factor analysis. Somebody already explored the questions. The multi-trait and multi-method metrics of correlations derived from measuring concept by different forms and different method, additionally establishing the robustness of the measure. So this is also the another way of measuring the construct validity.